All right, here we go, guys. Bonafide hustler here.
Rake and profit.
CP.
Retro aficionado. We're
Hey,
back.
let's go. We're back. Season 2 of the Green Room Hangout, and this is officially the first show of Season 2. I'm the Bonafide hustler. I reside in Austin, Texas, and I am a reseller. I'll toss it over to my main man, Rakin.
Thanks, Bonafide. What's going on, everybody? My name's Steve Rakin, or Rakin Profit, which I'm known on YouTube from Connecticut. Do a lot of different things, Kindle publishing, marketing, tons of different things, YouTube. The list really goes on and on, but excited for Season 2.
All right, toss it over, man. We're rusty. We're rusty.
I'm unmuted now. My name's CP, coming at you from the Golden Arches, open 24 hours. Shout out to the drive-thru. I'm a reseller, but I've been doing a lot of Amazon FBA recently because of situations. I'm actually working out of a trunk of a Buick. Yum.
Yeah. Yes, sir. This is Retro Aficionado, San Jose, California. I'm also a reseller. I do FBA, eBay, Craigslist, Antique Booth, and yeah, pretty much do it all.
All right, so you heard the staff of the Green Room right now. We are one short, and that is okay. He's a little bit more of a FBA / private label / marketing kind of guy, so he really didn't think this would be a good fit, and that is okay. Completely respectable. But today we are going to be talking about garage sale execution from point A to Z. And first, I want to go into the feed. I want to congratulate some people that are just in the feed right here, helping our first show, Season 2, get underway. Now, one of the guys in the feed right now is Brandon Penrod from Dallas, Texas, and I met up with Brandon today, and we went to a Starbucks, and I had the most hectic day ever planned, but I was like, there's nothing more honoring or humbling than to meet somebody that believes in what your message is, has joined your efforts, and so I met up with a guy, and I had a Doppio, and he had some frothy caramel frozen thing, and he bought it before I had a chance to buy him a drink. But anyway, that's aside the point. The point is there's some really, really advanced hustlers out there making a killing, and yeah, so we only hope to be motivating to all the people out there. So, you know, he was a big FBA kind of guy. Shout out to you, Brandon. But this show, we're going to be talking about garage sale execution, which can go hand in hand with FBA because you can find a lot of cool FBA things at garage sales as well. So let me go into the feed. And we have Resale Rabbit. We got Orange Elephant 523, who's Brock, Texas Gal Treasures. Lots of green roomers in here right now. Roomy Plays, Thrifty Treasures, Hill Country Slacker, Thrift School. I think Thrift School comes from, is that your side, Rakin? Yeah, that person?
I'm not sure, but I think so.
Okay. Gene Caruso, Aaron Atkins, and Sky Solo. All right, so here we go. Undergoing the first show in Season 2, and we thought it would be really appropriate to talk about garage selling and how we do it. Now, of course, you know, my videos on YouTube, there are a lot of ride-alongs on there, and ride-alongs are very important times in my Bonafide Hustler career. They're times to really, really hunker down. Like if you weren't to do, I think it's the perfect thing for someone that's part-time hustler and full-time hustler, especially part-time, because you can make a serious amount of money just doing a Saturday garage sale. All right, Saturday garage sale is just blowing it up. So let's talk to someone like Young right now. We're going to go into the day before the garage sale. Okay, so if you're going to do garage sales on Friday, we're talking about Thursday. If you do garage sales on Saturday, we're going to talk about Friday. The day before, how do we prep and how do we get motivated to do the very next day? Young, since you are an actual full-time worker but a part-time hustler and you do very well at hustling, let's talk about the day before, man. How do you when it comes to prep, how do you prep before the day?
Okay, yeah, that's easy. So the way I prep is, and I know a lot of you guys use apps like the Craigslist app. I personally use an app called IFTTT, I-F-T-T-T. I won't go too much into details about it, but I set up keyword searches for anything particular that I'm looking for, like bikes. And if I get an alert, what I do is, I actually mentioned this before, and I can't remember when, but what I'll do is I'll make a habit of actually calling the person, try and contacting them, and I'll say, hey, I really want this bike. Can I come by today? And you know what? 50% of the time, they'll say yes, and that's great. And then And then what I do is, if they say no, I'll just go down the list and I'll make a list of all the garage sales that I want to hit the next morning. And I go onto Google Maps, and then I basically pin a route from the earliest garage sale to the best ones, and I just basically plan a route. So that way it's really efficient. You're not driving, back and forth from one town to another. You create a route. It's very time saving. That's the way I do it. How about you, Eric? How do you do
You
it?
said IFTT, is that Android or is that
IFTT. It's for both. It basically stands for if this, then that. So you basically.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
If this and that, as in like the programming sense. Gotcha.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I see it.
Very
That's
cool
awesome.
app. It's free. You guys. And you guys there's. I mean, I won't go too much into details, but there's so much more you can do with that app. But how do you go about planning your garage sales?
I like Yard Sale Treasure Map and getting a good night's sleep. Make sure that you set an alarm for the next day. If you don't do that, you're not going to set the pace correctly. I know Chris will do it with 3 hours of sleep. Actually, he kind of makes me do it with 3 hours of sleep whenever I'm in Texas.
Oh, I know. It's funny because that ride along that we did, that was 3 ride-alongs ago. It was the massive video game hall one, but we openly admitted when the ride-along started, like, we're so tired, and you could see the bags under our eyes, but we were still out there like at like 7:20 in the morning, man. Just 3 hours of sleep. That's how exciting this game is. It's a lot of fun, and like I said, if you're a part-time hustler, I think this is one of the best ways to get so much exposure to buying some really cool stuff in such a short amount of time with some smart preparation. So hopefully you're taking up some of our tips right now, or taking up that website that Young was talking about. But yeah, you got to get some good sleep, just like Eric said. That's super important. I can't really stress on that because I happen to fail miserably at getting a really good night's sleep. But it's always usually because of something else the day before. I'm prepping cameras, or I'm making sure my batteries are all charged. I'm making sure, and we'll get to that here in a second when we talk about me. But let's talk about Rakin. Hey, Rakin, you're recently getting back into garage sales, and talk to us about that. The day before.
Even though I'm not huge into reselling right now, and I've been working on other types of things, I still love going to the thrift store. I still go quite a few times per week for pleasure, and still picking things now and then. But garage sales, I love them as well. Like, there's nothing better than jumping into your car on a Saturday morning in garage sales. But in terms of planning, I'm kind of along the lines with Yong as well. If this, then that is the site, ifttt.com. The app is really good. Like, you can create like crazy recipes. Like, there's so much more than Yong said. But the key is, regardless of what you guys do, plan it out in advance. You don't know how many times I've gone without a list or something like ready to go, or like I wasn't utilizing an app, and like your like productivity levels like just gets like crapped on. Like, seriously, put a list together, however it is. I usually use Craigslist, ifttt.com, but get a list together and make sure you get a dopey out, because I tell you, that will get you going.
Thank you. That's a perfect segue into mine. The night before, since I do the YouTube channel and everything, I have to do a little bit more prep than most people. So I got to make sure the batteries are charged, all the cameras. I got to make sure, if I do an active kind of like shot or whatever, I got to GoPro or whatever. I also make sure that my vehicle is fully gassed up, okay? I don't like to gas up my vehicle the very next day. I think it's kind of like a waste of time. I tend to sometimes cook my breakfast the night before, and I put it in a little Tupperware so it's ready to go and I'm out the door. I also sometimes lay out my clothes close to my bed, and that's ready to go. I'm telling you, man, I do that.
I just sleep in my clothes for the next day.
I know, bro. You like showed up to Austin, Texas for an entire week with like no backpack, nothing. You flew on the plane with clothes, and you told me, take me to a thrift store. I need to buy some clothes. Like, that's how minimalist you are. I get it, man.
No, it's because I had just gotten off of like an entire week of overnight and drove down to the airport with like no sleep.
I know. So
I didn't have time to pack.
Yeah, I mean, originating from my house. I mean, of course, I'm not like CP, but I actually have a lot of clothes in my house, so I try to lay them all out, get all that done. I do like to use Craigslist, right? But I like to supplement it with the Yard Sale Treasure Map app. I think it's a lot of fun. So I do actual keyword searches like Yang does on the IFTTT thing. And I like, whatever I like. Guys, I'm about bikes and, remote control cars and this and that. So if you're someone like Brock, for example, you're probably going to be looking at video games. And so I do that, and then I make sure to do the plurals of everything. I don't think people really understand that if you put in video game, you have to put in video games as well and press the search bar. It's very important because you're going to be missing out on like 50% more garage sales, because sometimes people just write a Craigslist ad and they go video game, right? Or that's it. Or they classify their video games as like video. Anyway, so or you want to put NES, Nintendo, Mario. You want to put all the relating terms to a video game in there, and then press search, 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 and you want to keep. You'll have a day full of video games garage sales. So sometimes I have days full of like bike ones, camping gear kind of stuff. Where I find camping gear in this town, I usually find sporting goods and some cool stuff like that. And I think every garage sale will have electronics, and electronics are really good FBA things as well if you know what to look for. So that's kind of how I do it the day before. Now let's go into the feed, because I'm going to ask this question out to you guys in the feed. What do you do the day before? We haven't even got to the day of the garage sale, but the day before the garage sale, what's your prep? And second of all, since this is the brand new Green Room channel, don't forget not only to like the video, but to subscribe to this channel, because we're going to have some interesting shows, and maybe some of these shows are going to be completely sporadic. Like, we're not going to put any advertising for some of these spur-of-the-moment shows, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, and usually the Green Roomers will get the actual advertisement, right, but we won't actually advertise it anywhere else. So, but if you are subscribed to the Green Room channel here, then that's okay. You get to watch the show. So let's go toss that to the feed. What do you think, Rake? And what do you think people are going to say? How do you think they're going to plan?
Man, I think, you know what, I've talked to a lot of people, and there's a lot of strategies out there, like a lot that we haven't even talked about. So I think we're going to learn some new things, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with I read a comment that was really kind of funny. Lori Rose, Rakin looks so thin. Good job.
Hey, man, you know what? You take down enough kale smoothies in the morning and jump on the trampoline, and you got into season 2 of the Green Room, you're going to be looking real good.
I have to ask you, did you get another trampoline, yes or no? Did you buy one?
So I bought this trampoline system, and it's like, it takes up my whole living room. It's 30 feet wide. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, you got it.
No.
Okay, cool. So, but yeah, Rakin's looking a little thinner. That's great. So you are actually trying to lose weight, yes or no? We're going to get off topic for about 1 minute. Rakin, are you trying to lose weight, or what are you doing?
Yeah,
Trying to do right now?
I've been trying for a while, and I've kind of had some health issues for a while, and I've been having like lung issues for like the longest time now. And I went to like a check for asthma and all these things. Come to find out that it has something to do with anytime I eat rices, pastas, breads, it like messes my whole system up. And I have been avoiding them for the last 2 weeks, and like my whole life, like energy's up, health's up.
Where did you go to get this diagnosis?
No, I went to the doctor to get diagnosed for asthma and different things. We've been going and getting tests on it. Nothing. They didn't know what it was. And eventually I was just doing my own research looking at the raw. Sorry?
Someone's lagging. You might have a gluten allergy, Rakin.
I was going to say, I think he has a celiac disease.
Oh, shoot. That would not be good either.
No,
yeah, I don't know, but I'm feeling...
It's not anything life-threatening. It's just basically you're allergic to like wheat and gluten and
yeah. So I'm gonna get some more tests done just to confirm and probably see like a dietitian and stuff. But I'm feeling good, so I'm happy.
Yeah, that's good, man. You should also go to an allergist, because if you in fact do have a gluten allergy or a tree nut allergy or a fish or something,
that's what I meant. I didn't mean a dietitian.
You need to go. They're going to say, like, remove your shirt, lay down on this table. They're going to pinprick you with all this stuff, and it's basically to see whether you're back. You know what it is. They take the snapshot, and they see what do you actually... Anyway, so we're off topic, but I wish you the best. And
thank you.
Come to the green room.
I see you a lot, so I can't tell if you're losing weight or not. I just see you on the screen too many times, so you must sneak up on some of these other people because they don't see you for, like, 2 weeks or something.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, well, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, good, man. Your skin's looking clear.
It's the kale, man.
Okay. Do you feel awkward yet?
You know what? My whole life is awkward, so I'm actually feeling more aligned than ever.
All right. Let's go in. So some of the comments have rolled in real quick. For the night before the garage sale, how do people actually prep? We have this guy, Aaron Atkins, says, I meditate for 6 hours beforehand to prep. Pretty funny. Um, here's Orange and Elephant 523, otherwise known as Brock, who I did mention, says, "Yep, looking for video games, the plural, and then video games together, right? Sometimes they separate the two words. So video game separated, video games plural, and then video games together, and then N64, Nintendo 64, etc." He's a smart guy. So it's no surprise why he mysteriously finds some of these amazing games in town. There is no mystery to it. You have to be smart on how you prepare, like Raken said, your garage sale list, and you have to be smart and you have to know how to actually search for terms like Yang does. And you have to make sure you put plurals in anything that has to do with what you're trying to find. I like Young's tactic about that would never work in this town, but calling the garage sale before it even happens, and then you go get the bike if you can get it, right, or whatever it is.
A good example is, and the Green Room members know, and as you guys know, I flipped a bike recently on Craigslist, the Centurion.
I remember that one.
Yeah, he was selling. He advertised it on a Friday for a Saturday garage sale. I messaged him. He said, "Come by," picked it up, bought it for $90, and sold it for $320.
Dude, I told you. Was my ballpark estimate in the green room accurate or not?
Absolutely.
250. I think I told you 250, 350, right? Something like that.
I can't remember.
You got the high end of it, man. I'm proud of you.
That is a $100 spread.
Dude, that's still.
The guy drove 2 hours to pick it up.
If you find a junked out Centurion, I guarantee you 250 is sometimes they sell for less here, but if you find a good one like Yang did, then you're going to be looking at that 330. You got one of the highest ranges of that bike, honestly. Anyway, okay, so Brent Arnold says, on Friday I look at the newspaper at work and I check out all the yard sales for after work. I also write down all the sales to hit before work on Saturday. I have a very limited amount of time to hit sales. This guy sounds really smart. So that's what you got to do. Everyone's situation is different, but by watching this show, hopefully you figure out that there are certain things that everybody is doing that's common, okay? So when you're watching, just try to figure out the commonalities of what we're all talking about and then apply them and then go with it within your own life and execute that same stuff. We got 48 people watching now. We really appreciate you guys being on our Season 2, Episode 1 Green Room Hangout. Hit the like button if you can, and let's go into the next topic, which is the morning of, okay? We're on the day of, but now we're waking up, okay? So, CP, we're going to start with CP real quick.
I like to hit snooze about 4 times. Right.
Okay.
These 10 minutes apiece. No, I try to get up immediately. I kind of have different strategies depending if I'm going with somebody else or if I'm going by myself. Having a navigator always is a big plus. Just getting in there, you're kind of less of a threat when you go up to a early bird sale or something like that.
Yeah, you were my navigator on that really big video game haul, which I'm still getting paid to this very day, but you were my navvy on that one.
Paying.
And a lot of these neighborhood-wide garage sales, I guess we're kind of in the season of it. They're two times in a year really the season comes around, but if you can, try to get the map, right? Some of the homes have the map to the neighborhood-wide garage sales, and I gave the map to CP, and CP routed me all the way through everything. So having a navigator, like College Picker said, is absolutely important. Raken, so you wake up, the alarm clock gets you up, you jump on a trampoline a couple times, then what do you do, man, after that? I don't think you can hear me.
Did he freeze out? Oh,
no, he's there. Okay, Young. He's saying he's busy right now. Okay, Young. So yeah, the alarm clock wakes you up. Let me ask you this: energy level. Are you super excited, or are you kind of like, I gotta do this? What do you feel like?
I'm always energized. It's like I said in the past. If you don't, for me, it's not a job because I enjoy doing that. And if you enjoy doing something, it's not a job. But the first thing you always need to have, the number one rule in any sort of type of picking, you gotta have the cash. Gotta have the cash. Right?
I like going to the ATM, middle of the afternoon.
Cha-ching.
Go to the ATM, do what you gotta do, or like Eric said, go the night before, but get cash, because the most embarrassing thing is to show up at a garage sale and say, how much is that? The guy says $100 and you only have 80.
That's true.
So always have cash.
Yeah, during peak season, I always try to have somewhere between like $5,000 and $1,000, something like that,
And the
500 to a
secret
thousand.
$100 bill somewhere in your car.
What'd you say?
The secret $100 bill
Oh
that's somewhere
yeah,
in your car.
that's what saved the day on that last one. So, all right, Raken, what do you do as soon as you wake up?
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry about before. My mute got like froze and it wouldn't unmute. So pretty much when I wake up, I usually get my list and review it. Like a lot of times, like I'll just throw a list together, and it's good to actually put it in order in terms of where you're going. So personally, I like to go towards like the big family sales over here. Like it's not like Austin, Texas, where like there's like a million of them going on. Like usually, like there's like maybe like 15 or 20. Like maybe more, like, but sometimes you have to travel really far. So I like to go like my biggest bang for my buck for my time. Um, and make sure you have like space cleared out in your car. Like I don't know how many times like I didn't plan in advance and like I ran out of room, you know. So if you have bikes, like make sure you got your bike rack on your car. If you put it in your back seat and destroy your seats, make sure you have room, which I did my first year, just stacking them in my car. So
Bring dirty towels.
I got a whole blanket that I had set up back there. It was serious. It
Or a
was bona
blanket.
fide style.
Yeah, I hear what Raken's saying. So like prep is really interesting. He's talking about his vehicle prep and everything. And for me, it's like I got that SUV with a bike rack on the back. But I also, what people don't know, is that I carry straps inside the vehicle for if I find a canoe, kayak, or a stand-up paddleboard or something like that. So I think it's very important to definitely be prepared with knowing your own vehicle's like shortcomings. Let's put it that way. So
What kind of straps are they, Chris? Are they ratcheting, or are they lashing, or are they
no,
just
they're
rope
not. They're not
straps?
ratchet. They're the time that you pull and then you pull it and it'll just hold tight right that.
Lashing
The ones are
straps.
cool, but they tend to be a little bit more bulky. And if something happens when they hit your paint flying off, it's like a disaster. So like I tend to go with the lighter weight ones that are like just a pull strap, right? And I have 4 of them, and I ride them over. The biggest thing I've ever had on my roof was a huge canoe that was like 15 feet long or something like that. It was huge. So yeah,
15
trust me.
feet for a canoe is like pretty normal.
I think we filmed
carry
that
one
ride
around
along.
my car all the time.
Yeah, my brother and I filmed that ride along, but I don't think it ever came to fruition. Or I don't think we aired the last segment because we were like, all right, see you later, Bonafide Hustler out, and then we were getting so tired, and we hit one more garage sale, and there was a canoe there, and I was like, I don't want to film this part. Screw it. I'll just put it on my roof. I only made like $80 on that canoe, by the way. I didn't make very much.
What kind
Okay.
of canoe was it? Do you remember?
Uh, it is like you could find it at Academy Sports and Outdoors, which is the same thing as like Oshman's or like it's like the very base. It's a green one. God, what do they call it?
Old Town?
No, I wish it was an Old Town because I know Old Town. No, it's not an Old Town. It's right before that. It's like a Wilderness, maybe Wilderness. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, let's go into the
It
feed.
wasn't an Old Town.
Shut up. Let's go into the feed and see what's going on because I'm curious to see how people, and we're not even talking about energizing up yet or like what drink do you have or whatever. Let's just see what you do as soon as you wake up. Are you pumped up? How's your energy level? Like, what do you do? Do you have your breakfast? Do you take out off the door? Do you rig your vehicle the day before? Let us know in the comment. I want to see a couple comments right now. Off subject. Thrifty Treasure says, I'd love to know the ingredients in Steve's shake. Besides kale, I want to try it. Steve, make a write-up in the green room, please. Okay?
All right.
Okay.
It's a deal.
Aaron Atkins, I've been to 3 neighborhood wine garage sales in the last 3 weekends, and they were all flops. That's crazy. I'm really hesitant to go to any more of them. Issue number 1, don't ever think like that because it's you got to keep persisting in life because usually people give up right before success hits. I know Raken knows this rule. The guy said, I feel like since the neighborhood is selling stuff, a lot of the people there just lay out their junk since everyone else is putting stuff out. Hey, you might be just going to the wrong neighborhoods, and that's all it is. Ric Flair Picker 16X, woohoo. Thank you for the support. I've seen you in a lot of the Green Room Hangouts. It really means a lot that you're here. Thank you for being here. Okay. Matthew Dresner, do you guys ever try to early bird the 7 a.m. sales? Some people around here try, and they get exclusive looks around 5:30 in the morning. Oh my lord. Okay, let's talk about that. Isn't that crazy? Dude, I know, shaking head time, right? Let's talk about Eric. You were touching on early bird, right?
It's a personal preference. It's a great strategy, but I don't do it.
Okay.
I really don't.
I do it for like the first 2 or 3 in the morning, and then it's even on my videos. You can see it. I do 2 or 3, and then after that, it just seems like it's not even an early bird anymore. Rakin.
I'll do it, and I've done it in the past if it was like something super specific, like a really profitable bike, and I couldn't get a hold of him through email, like Young when he's trying to contact them. But usually I don't. Like over here in Connecticut, like there's so many people going after like jewelry and like silver and stuff. Like they show up so early. Like I'm surprised if they're camping out. Like I always kind of ask. I always ask, just curious. Like when was the first person? When did they come? And like it'll be like 5 in the morning, something like stupid, ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, so I have never early birded anyone an hour before. I've done 30 minutes before. 30 is a good rule. I think that people should experience 30-minute early bird, and you'll find a lot of times that's not even an early bird either. There's still people there already. So, it just depends on the competition where you are. I don't know if the South has more early bird people than the North. I have no idea. Usually when I do garage sailing on the coastlines, Charlotte or San Diego or anything in between, it's like more for sport because I'm there for vacations usually. So I just kind of go out at like 8. But here in town, I take it very seriously. But I early bird like 2 or 3. Mothership Products, aka Dwayne, what's up? Green Rumor. Waking up is the hardest part. Oh, I wake up pretty easily. I don't feel good when I wake up, but I am like young, and I think like, oh, at any point this day could be like the day, right? It could just, that's how I'm thinking all the time. Like when me and College Picker went and we aired that video, we were both on like 3 hours of sleep, but we all had smiles on our face and we were all pumped up to go. And we managed to find, even with a sleepy navigator, we managed to find.
I don't think I got a smile on my face till we hit that video game.
Yeah, and it's an incredible haul. I really wish we did the dumbest thing. We were so tired after that we boxed it all up. It took 5 hours. Remember that? It took 5 or 6 hours to process the entire video game haul. And then the funny thing is, it was all in a box and it was all taped up. And we looked at each other. We're like, we probably should have filmed some of that. And we didn't film anything.
I think I have 2 pictures of it, but it doesn't do it justice unless you go through every single game. And then some people don't want to see that. Only like diehard video game collectors would want to see that.
So tell people real quick, the people that are like video game nerds and I don't mean that in a weird way. Tell the people that are video game aficionados, never mind, they're nerds, in the feed, and that know about video games. What was that #1 video game that you found, and what was the resale on it?
It was Suikoden 2. It's a PS1 game, and it was complete black label PS1 game, really good condition, and the resale is upwards of about 150 to 200.
Yeah, and it had the booklet.
Yeah, it was complete.
It was a complete case booklet, no scratches. It was just like, what? Like, what is this doing here? But anyway, okay. So, Steve, we expect a write-up of that kale shake, by the way. Okay.
Oh, it's coming.
With a nice picture, please.
Might even be a Green Room exclusive video. Something like that. You don't just write it up, right? You don't do it like that. It's not the proper way. Have some respect when it comes to a nice green smoothie.
Okay. Well, I know that you have a nice camera. What camera do you have? A T3, T4, T5? What do you have?
And the Elfie.
I mean, I have a few. Like my favorite one to use is this one right here. I know Eric likes those. He loves them. He's picked up a few hundred in the past, right?
Close to it.
He didn't hog it up though. He told the Green Room about it. And how much did you buy? Like $6,000 worth? What, $5,000, $2,000 worth? I don't know what you bought.
It was between 5 and 6, probably 5,500.
Yeah. So you told everyone in the Green Room. Some people pulled the trigger, some people didn't. But hey, they all made money on it. I remember that.
That was a Slick Deals deal, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was great. Okay, so we got a lot of comments coming through, and I would like to read some of them. But we're going to go into the energy portion right now. Okay, so now you've woken up. Now you've seen a couple of sales. All right, let's assume energy is getting kind of low. Okay, so Yang, energy's a little low. Like, what do you do, man?
I don't know because my energy is always high. No, seriously, like, I don't get any coffee. I don't get any coffee. I don't get any energy drink because I know, like, if I even stop to get like a drink or a breakfast, I know that someone else is going to beat me to it. I usually don't even eat breakfast. I just go straight to the garage sales and I have
Doesn't sleep, doesn't
lunch.
breakfast, doesn't.
So I don't know. I mean, and I'm being completely honest.
That's good. You are really you man, I know that when you go garage selling that you don't mess around because I see your pictures in the green room and it's just like, man, you're always buying like really cool stuff. You have a you have a very interesting town out there, and I actually saw your town today on the news. And here's why I saw it. I was meaning to call you, but I may as well just tell you on the air what I saw on the
Yeah.
news regarding San Jose. That is where you live, right?
Yes.
Okay, so apparently there's an epidemic in San Jose where people are stealing packages off people's doorsteps. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Young.
Are you really garage selling, Young, or not?
Right, yeah.
You
Everything's
actually
always
hear
new
that
in the
on the news?
box.
Chris, you actually hear that though? Seriously?
Yeah, I saw the news today in the Austin. Well, no, national news. I'm talking like ABC Worldwide News, like it was on there. San Jose was on there.
Okay.
And
Wow.
the reason why it was on there is because people know that it's happening because they have that front door camera thing that like notifies an app on the phone and they get it and they're like, holy crap, someone's at my door. And then they
Yeah.
see them like shield their face real quick and then they run off with the package. I'm not even kidding.
Oh,
The funny thing is, they caught one of the guys. I don't know if he was in San Jose, but they caught a guy because he shielded his face like this and he took this gigantic painting thing in a box. It looked like a painting, right? And he took it away. And then the guy opened the box and it was an awning. Okay, it was an awning. It wasn't. It was not a painting or anything. So he puts it on Craigslist, and then the people that are like, "Where's my awning?" And then they realize, like, they go back in their camera feed. They're like, "Oh, someone stole the awning." They go to Craigslist. They see the awning there, and they call the police and they say, "Hey, this guy stole our awning, and it's on Craigslist." Isn't that crazy?
You know, I love Craigslist, but at the same time, it's so shady. Jeez.
Yep. Okay, so that's how you do. You don't do any energy kind of stuff. I'm gonna talk to you after the show. You were supposed to say something, and anyway,
Hey, I'm being honest, man.
I'm just kidding. All right,
I can
cool.
lie if you want me to, but I'm just being honest.
Rakin, do you drop caffeine pills in your kale smoothies on a Saturday morning?
You know what? I actually do have them, and
No.
yeah, like I actually try to I actually just started using this stuff. It's called the Good Morning Pill. It's like a mixture of like caffeine and like vitamin B, like a few vitamins and stuff. The thing is, I try to avoid coffee when I'm garage selling because like I don't know, maybe some of the ladies out there could relate, but like when I drink a cup of coffee and like have a glass of water or two, like I'm going to the bathroom like every 15 minutes. Like it's so funny. Like I'm like a little girl when it comes to like I'm like I always gotta like so like I try to stay away from like the diuretics and stuff like that. And I like to bring like to stay energized. I like to bring fruit. Like I love fruit, like some blueberries or strawberries, something kind of like hydrating. That always seems to spike my energy. Some people say like fruit makes them tired. Like for me, like honestly, fruit like gives me like crazy amounts of energy. So I try to stay away from anything processed because it'll just tear your energy away.
Okay, so everyone's saying different things. College CP, if you're still there, how do you
I'm here.
energize? If you go to a first round of garage sales, you go to like 3 or 4, and then you get kind of tired. What do you do?
Pull over on the side of the road. I'll take a nap.
All right, we heard it there. I think everyone knows what I do when I get low on energy. The funny thing is, during the week, I tend to not do the dope thing as much because I've been, and this is a terrible thing, and you're going to start seeing this in some of my ride-alongs that I have not edited yet that come from my weekly thrift runs because my brother and I roll together, and I don't know, we're just not in dope moods. So we end up getting these sugar-free Monster things or sugar-free Red Bull things, and I'm telling you, man,
The organic monsters.
the organic Monsters, I mean, no, the organic red Rockstar ones are really good. There's only one of them, actually. But those give me a really good energy curve. I'm talking like it gets me up here, and it just, I ride like that. It's kind of cool. And that's for during the day. But the only problem is if I work out when I'm on that thing, it's a terrible feeling. I don't know what happens, but it's just an awful feeling. So I use C4 for the workout kind of stuff. But if you work out and you know about fitness, you know what C4 is. So that's what I do during the week. I do some Monster stuff. I'm not happy about that because I'm always about organic stuff, as you can see. I love organic stuff. I should probably be building kale smoothies and stuff. I'll be looking at that right up, Steve. You better inspire me with your pictures, by the way.
I'm coming,
Do
man.
you use a Vitamix, Steve? You still using Vitamix?
I don't use the Vitamix at all. I don't even I've had them and flipped them before, but I don't have one anymore. I use
Three?
a Ninja blender. Yeah,
The
it's like
three blades?
$100. Yeah, it's powerful. I mean, compared to $400 to $100, I mean, it's pretty close.
I've seen Ninjas at Goodwill too. You
Yeah,
should pick
pick
them
them
up.
up. People will buy those things for sure. Like I was even looking on Craigslist, but I don't know. Like I don't want to buy a used blender. Like to be honest, it just I don't know. It kind of freaks me out. Like you get a blender from someone like Young, who knows what he's putting in there.
Hey, good stuff.
Frog milkshake.
I'm just
Good
kidding.
stuff.
Okay,
Olympia.
now we're gonna go into a little bit of strategy when you're driving down the road and you're looking at sales. Okay, so you're driving it. Let's say it's a neighborhood-wide garage sale kind of thing, or you're driving down the road and you're looking at them. How do you kind of do that? Like, do you drive past things? Why do you drive past certain ones, and why do you stop at certain ones? Let's talk about that real quick. College picker, what makes you stop at a place versus drive right by it?
How fresh the sign looks, if you guys understand what I mean by that. Like if it's not a permanent structure, because people do weekly or bi-weekly sales, you can kind of tell it's a piece of plywood. Or if I'm out on a Saturday and I see a Friday, Saturday, Sunday sign, that's going to be most likely a skip, but maybe not. It just depends on how the day's going. But you can definitely kind of pick out the ones that look a little fresher than the other. You guys know what I'm talking about, or?
Oh, I absolutely know what you're talking about. Some people have religious, like, amounts of garage sales a year, and they just use their garage sale as a avenue, almost like a flea market, to sell their stuff.
Yeah, so the sign's very weathered.
Right. Talk to me about that Friday, Saturday, Sunday thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, if you see one that says Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're out on Saturday or Sunday, more than likely it's going to be extremely picked.
Okay.
You could pick up scraps, but
You're right. You're
we're
right.
trying to be professionals here.
No, you're right. Rakin. So now we're talking about going down the street. What makes you stop at a garage sale versus fly right past it? I think you said that you see 20 to 30, maybe at best.
Yeah,
Do you stop at every 20 or what?
the first thing you got to take in consideration, like that I always do, is what time is it, right? It's like what time is it in the day, and how much more of a list do I have? Like, do I have any like big hitters? Like I like to star some of them off that like have things that I'm like really interested in. It could be a blender, it could be a bike, whatever you're looking for. It depends. Like if it's brand new spank in the middle, like in the beginning of the day, and I've only been doing it for like 30 minutes, like I'm gonna be doing drive-bys. You know what I'm saying? Just looking for certain things. Like if I see like 70-80% of like kids junk, like I'm just gonna pass by. Like it's like a risk and reward type of thing. Especially like I know maybe Bonafide could talk about this. Those golden hours, right? I know you always refer to that. So I mean, if it's all time, it's time, and it's where are you on the list. So that's big.
Yeah, and the golden hour, I mean, varies for, I guess, for every town. Some people have garage sale that starts at 7 and 8, or maybe you have golden hours. I would like to think that Austin, Texas has a golden hour, as in singular, and it's from 8 to 9. So really between 8 and 9, it's like don't be getting dopios, and don't be getting any, try not to go to bathrooms like every 2 seconds like Steve. Um,
I gotta go.
I know, but you gotta go, man. But yeah, I mean, what makes me pass by one versus stay at one? I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I actually look at the people that are hosting the sale, and I look at the house and the maintenance of the house. I look at various things. I look at the neighborhood I'm in, and that'll dictate a lot too. So call it as you may. I call it judging. That's a bad way to do it, but at the same time,
Judge a book by its cover.
you've got to judge if you're in the golden hour. A good judge, if you got to judge, I mean, that's the only hour to really do it. After that, it's kind of like, all right, did I do well in the golden hour or not, or golden hours? And then you can kind of slow down, and you can kind of take your time, and then maybe start sifting through boxes, that kind of stuff. But I think what Rakin was hinting at is he really tries to see if there's something on the surface in that golden hour that he can zip out of the car, go get, put it back in the car, and go to the next garage sale as quick as possible.
Chris, can I ask you a question real quick? It's kind of related to it. Let's say you have, that golden hour. You know that between 8 and 9, like that's the sweet spot. Like that's the bread and butter right there. Let's say you have like 3 or 4 garage sales on opposite ends of town that you want to go to. Like how do you decide which one you're going to go to in that golden hour? Like I'm sure that happens all the time because it happens to me, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and the good thing about Austin is that the weather is kind of, well, I guess not recently, but last month we had a historical, like in the past, we had like a 100-year flood basically. Okay, so it like destroyed a lot of stuff, and um, but what do I do when something's from one end to another? I stick around I will hover around whichever sale has the most potential around it, right? Because I figure if I take the transit time into consideration, if one's from one end to another, here in this town, one end to another is 30 minutes, right? And if you're going to execute a one end to another kind of thing in the middle of golden hour, it's probably the worst idea ever. So I never do it, right? But from one end to another outside of golden hour, and if you happen to be eating, let's say, lunch closer to that second one, right, then it makes kind of sense. So for me, usually that second one is somewhere down really south in Austin, and I'm like, all right, where can I go ride my bike, or where can I go eat lunch, or something like
Craigslist
that?
meetup.
Huh? Yeah. Where can I do, like, what can I do to make it
Or
totally
just
worth it
sell a
going
Strider
down
bike in the middle.
there? I know. Did you get on video, or did you get pictures of that? I can't even hear you. You're muted.
Pictures.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, I think I only sold. I think I sold 2 bikes while you were in this town. I think 2. Anyway.
It was 2 and a pair of rims.
What?
2
Oh,
bikes
that's
and a pair of
right.
rims.
2 and a pair of rims. You're right, but not like auto rims. We're talking bike rims. Okay.
No, bike rims. Like
Yeah,
the husband sent the wife to go pick them up, which was pretty messed up.
Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, always be cognizant of the golden hour in your town. Young, talk to us about your golden hour. What does San Jose golden hour look like? What time is it?
Well,
Look at Raken, by the way. Hold on, before you do
I
that.
thought my camera was off.
Shut up. What are you doing?
So I can't enter. I got a kale shake. I mean, I'm not trying to take the light from Yang, but I got a kale shake. I had to have something to drink. So it's season 2. I don't just start season 2 without a kale shake. So back to Yang.
wow. For me, well, my golden hour is, I mean, I'm sure everyone has a different time, but my time period, my golden hour is right around between 7:30 and 8:30. To me, the earlier the better. I can find the most valuable products within that time frame. I've found some stuff like later in the day too. See, my routine is a little different than probably you guys, is because like from basically 7 up until about 9:30 in the morning, it's all strictly garage sales, and then from 10 o'clock until 11, I do book sales, because most book sales start at 10. So I'm doing garage sales from 7:30 to 9:30, or 7 to 9:30, and then I'll go to a local book sale.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's how I do it.
Yeah, and I want to put it out to the audience on this one. What is the golden hour in your town? What town are you in? Garage selling, first of all, and then what is the golden hour for that? Also, if you could help us out, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I will. I definitely, probably with Raken or whoever wants to do it with me, or Young, we're going to be doing some private sneak videos that are just going to pop on real quick, right? And then we might yank them off and then throw them into the room for private viewing after that. But they will be available on the actual YouTube for a short period of time, and you're going to get the notification.
That would be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you subscribe to us, then anytime that your subscription feed's going off, you're going to see a live event like happening now, and that's one of the perks of getting that. So we might talk about something just completely random. It might be a 20 to 30-minute show, but anyway, it's going to be very improv, and it's going to be done based on one hard-hitting, fact, and then we're going to take that video, probably bring it into the room as a private video after that. But yeah, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get to see the video, assuming you're on the internet at that time. Okay, so golden hour. I'm curious to see what people's golden hours are in their hometowns. Let's take a look. 51 watching right now. And I'm curious. I'm very curious. All right, so a lot of green rumors in there that it hasn't got around yet, I don't think. Let me just make sure. Okay, someone asked, College Picker, how do you like the Midwest? Can you give us some update on your new place? CP, go for it.
I'm in the West right now.
You're in the West.
I'm in the West.
Okay.
Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
But I'm just visiting Oregon right now.
Okay. Debbie Fritz SD says, I used to judge sales by looking at a house, but lately I found that some of the little old people's sales have some killer vintage items, and they are only usually like a quarter or 50 cents. That's totally right. Oh man, she's so right about this. That's one of the reasons why I walk out of my car sometimes is the old people, right? If I look at the house and I'm like, oh, it's an established neighborhood, then I look at the people running the sale, and they have that like fanny pack looking thing, and they're kind of old, and they have that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like that's the giveaway, and I'm looking at the trees and I'm like, they're grown, and I'm like, all right, like this all makes sense. This person lived here for a long time. They're getting rid of some of their cool stuff. And she's right, a lot of that stuff will be 25 or 50 cents. It's crazy. You're like, what? But usually when I go to those things, I'm looking at like trucker hats, freaking beer steins, glassware, all kinds of weird stuff for my booth. And you're right, it's dirt cheap. And even if it sells in my booth for like 15 or 18 bucks, or randomly, like a Stein, for example, my booth 28 to $34, that's still a huge amount of profit, right? It's my local FBA. That's what I call it, local FBA. I get to get the items, and then I get to just sticker them, and then instead of taking them to UPS, I take them down the road and I put them in my booth, local FBA. And it works when I'm on vacations or whatever. So, Alabama pickers, Steve, you lost me at kale. We use our Vitamix a ton, but purely spinach and fruit. I can't do the kale, dude. I can't. That's pretty funny.
It takes time to get used to it. Like, start with a little and then just add more and more. Like, there's a strategy to it. Like, there's going to be a post in the green room. I can't say it enough, so.
Okay, cool. Kale is. Let me ask you this, Steve. What do you know about kale and its benefits? Real quick.
I know that kale is considered to be a superfood because it's loaded with antioxidants and cancer-fighting properties and different just nutrients and stuff. I'm sure CP could bring a whole scientific theory to it and give some more information, but I just know it's very, very nutritious for you.
He's kind of doing a smirk.
I'm more of a specialist on manufactured drugs than
Okay.
Natural foods and stuff. But isn't kale a seaweed?
It grows from the ground. It can't be seaweed. It grows from the ground. I know that. Anyway, okay. Thrifty Treasure says, I do that sometimes too young, which I guess if I see this comment now, I don't know what she's talking about because you've said a lot of things. But okay, anyway. Let me refresh the feed here and just see what.
Yeah, one thing that I do avoid though is if I see a lot of baby stuff, I avoid it because at least from my experience, I've never done well, and maybe it's just because I'm uneducated. But if I see baby stuff, I won't go hit up that garage sale.
That's funny. The one time, well, I don't ever go to like baby garage sales, like hardly ever. I don't know really how to. I know how to flip Bob strollers, and I know how to flip. Playmobil stuff, Melissa and Doug stuff, Thomas the Train stuff, like just randoms, but I think I know what Young's talking about. One of the ones I think it was last year, I think I got it on a ride along, I think it made it to it, but I was like, my brother was like, no way, we're not stopping at this, it looks terrible, and I was like, but there's a big box, and it looks like it hasn't been open, I don't know what that is, it's a toy, I know it just looks like it hasn't been open, I go there, and it's like $2, and it's a treehouse thing made out of wood. And then I look it up immediately as soon as I put it in my car, and it's showing like $100 on eBay. Ship it. It sells in like a week. It was so awesome. But yeah, that was at a baby sale with lots of pink stuff, so it was crazy. Okay, people's actual what do we call it? Golden hours are rolling in from Seattle. 7 to 8 is the golden hour in Seattle, guys, or St. Louis maybe. Matthew Dresner. Stacy Staggs, I seem to find good stuff from 8 to 10, but one of my best buys was at 1 p.m. That's crazy. Yikes. Lori Rose, I live in Southern California. Their yard sales all year round. Thrifty Treasures, golden hour for me, 7:30 to 8:30. So just like Yang. Guillermo Peel, 7 to 9 a.m. I find most of the good stuff. Cool. Oh, this is great too. So here's another tip for you. Something that has worked for me in garage sales is that I ask for things that I'm looking for. Have you ever gone to a garage sale, rake-in, where you go up there and then the first thing the person says to you, besides the good morning and beautiful day, whatever, is looking for anything in particular? How many times have you heard that exact statement, right?
I always find it to be somewhat like alarming when somebody does that. I find it. I haven't had a ton of success with people doing that. I feel like they're like salesmen.
Okay, let me just tell you something.
High on the prices.
When they say that, okay, this is an exercise for everyone to do. I want you guys to have three things that you actually are looking for. That if you're like, oh, I usually if I find something in these three things, it always does well. So I'm gonna go around to CP real quick. We're gonna start with him, and I'm gonna play the garage sale person with the tight fanny pack thing under the tree, and I'm kind of old. So,
Good
beautiful day,
morning.
beautiful day out here. Why do you have a camera on top of your head?
Oh, I'm doing a project for school.
Documentary.
Are you looking for anything in particular?
Yeah, do you have anything that's undervalued that I could sell on Amazon or eBay?
You're supposed to give me your three things, dude. All right, we're gonna do this again. Is there okay? Gosh, man, you
I'm
got me
always looking
all
for
up.
video games. I'm just messing with you.
All right, go for it.
Can I take a look at some video games that you guys have inside the garage?
Okay, that's not three things.
Well,
What are the three main things that you want to find in a garage sale? Let me ask you this right now.
I always ask for electronics, video games, and bicycles.
Okay, cool. And then Raken, your three things. I'm not going to role play with Raken. I'm just going to ask him straight up. If someone,
Yeah.
you're supposed to have your
Bicycle.
three things. Have your three things ready to say, so when that uncomfortable question comes, you know right away. Like launch these three things. That's it. What is it?
Yeah, I like to go with bicycles, video games, and anything like sporting. Like even like I like buying weights and like baseball stuff
Baseball
and like
stuff, right? Right,
yeah.
baseball stuff. Yeah, you've made a fair amount of posts in the green room regarding like baseball stuff. I remember that. Cool. And
I
then
have a
Young,
bat
I know
post.
you're probably a pro at answering this question, but what are your three things that you would say, or what do you say?
Lately, it's been bikes, obviously, books and games, board
Okay.
games.
Bikes, books, games. I say when I go, I always say bikes, remote control, and video games. I'll say those three things. Bikes, remote control car, a bike, remote control car, and some video games. I always say that. So that's one of the things that if you take away anything from this show, that's one of the best things to do. And I do it here, and I don't do it every single time, but I've gotten to a habit that when someone asks me that, I always say those three things. And there are some other people like Brock, for example, Parks, who will say, "Hey, do you guys have any?" And he'll say his three things, right? And he won't even wait for that question, or if he just makes the question. So he's real adamant about asking, and it's no surprise, why he finds so many video games and why he finds so many kid board games or whatever. It's no surprise. He makes the effort. You make the effort, it's statistical, your statistics, so you're gonna come out on top a little bit more than the other person. That's okay. So, all right. I hope you guys learned something on that. We got 8:54. We got 6 minutes left.
A lot of people like to say, "Do you have any broken jewelry?" Also.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some people that go in there. You got any, small jewelry? Do you have any LPs? Like in this town, you're going to hear records, LPs. You're going to hear small jewelry, and then you're going to hear like trinkets or antiques or something like that, right? So anyway, um, let's see. Let me get my comment feed refreshed. I'm still trying out, guys, to figure out how to get that feed on the other side. I still have not figured it out. I mean, I need to do it for our next show on Green Room Hangout number 2. We'll have a different topic, and we'll have that feed going. I might have to do a couple test shows just to see what's up. Yeah, here we go. So here's some people talking to us right now about like their things. Okay, so some people say 2, some people say 3. Thrifty Treasure says books and jewelry. College Picker says kale is not a seaweed. Resale Rabbit, I always ask if they have any video games. And this person found Super Smash Brothers for $10 at a place. All right, so there we go. And then Mothership Product says baby stuff means no. Christmas stuff, no. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's make sure we got 34 people right now. All right, so we're getting close to the end of the show, and we're going to wrap up the show with the very last thing, because obviously you know that once you buy the stuff and you bring it home, it's really up to you to list it and put it in its respective respectful places. So whether it's eBay, Amazon IT booth, or whatever flea market that you do, that's an understood kind of thing. We can talk about that in another show if that's something that you guys want to talk about, like post garage sale, like actions. What do you do when you bring it home? If you guys want to hear a show about that, we'd be glad to do that kind of show for you guys. But let's cap it off with a very brief negotiation tactic that you use to get something that you want. Okay, Young, I'll let you lead it off. And let's say you come to a garage sale and you say the 3 things you're supposed to say, and then they wheel out a bike from the back, right? They wheel out a bike, and you're like, damn, that wasn't even on the freaking listing. And then you're like, you're starting to get excited. Let me ask you this: do you show your excitement, or do you kind of play it off? What do you do?
So put your poker face on, and then you just point out all the flaws. Man, this got dings, it's got scratches, the tire doesn't spin right, and most of the time you can have them drop the prices, but always point out the flaws. That's my strategy, always.
Okay, so let me ask you this: you point out flaws, and
Mm-hmm.
then you get all this, and then they go, let's say you really wanted to pay 20, all right, and they go, I'd be happy with like 50 bucks for it, but you're like, ooh, if I can get in around 20 or 30, this is going to be a steal. How would you negotiate that?
Well, no, I just told him. I said, look, I got to put more money into it, just getting it fixed. So why don't you just do me a favor and just
What if
price
it's
it up?
perfectly running?
Because what if it's perfect? Wow,
What if it's pristine?
I'll figure something out. The last bike that I sold was it
There's
was
some dirt
old,
on the
but
tires,
it was
sir.
pristine, and all it had was like flat tires. But then I spun the wheel, and I was like, hey, the rims are kind of tilted, even though it really wasn't. And he was like, oh, you're right, but it wasn't. And he just agreed with me.
So just lie to the guy.
And then I was like, and the tires are flat, but all I needed was a new inner tube, and then so he gave it to me for a cheap price.
Okay, so you having to point out flaws and stuff. That's cool, man.
Always.
Raken, you go into a garage sale and you see a pile of baseball stuff, and in the pile of baseball stuff, you're seeing some things that you know. Okay, I see some bats, I see some gloves, I see some stuff. What goes in your head? Are you trying to buy pieces of it, or are you trying to buy all of it, first of all?
It really depends. I mean, if I'm going to buy it all, I mean, obviously you could use bundling for an advantage. You could save a lot of money, but let's just say I'm going to get one thing or two things. Um, my number one negotiation thing is to always like have a smile and build rapport. I think it's huge. People are so much more willing to negotiate with you if they like you, and if you're just going in straight for the kill, a lot of times they'll just resist just based on most people just always say no. Like you want to ask it in a certain way as well. Tonality, building rapport, and sometimes you want to find what their pain point is. I mean, figure out why they're selling this stuff. Are they moving? Are they just trying to make some quick cash? I mean, if you could solve their pain point and kind of word it in a way that kind of like I don't know, like resonates with what they're trying to do, like it can really help out a lot. Like for example, you could pull out some money and say, hey, like I'd love to, after already building rapport and knowing, like say they're moving, like hey, I'd love to help you out and get this out of here for you so you can move to your new place. Like just using weird words like that just seem to help.
Okay. And call it CP. You go up to a garage sale, you see something that you want. Do you downplay your actions? Do you point out flaws? Do you build out rapport? Look, what do you do to negotiate, or not even negotiate? What do you do in that situation when you see something that you do want?
Depends on the person that I'm there with, and it also depends on the item. Obviously, if it's like a small little trinket, normally I'll just say, yeah, well, you take $1 for it. But if it's something where we're gonna have to spend a couple hundred on an enormous video game bundle, then I'll have to do some math in my head and then just figure out a fair price and then just get it and get out of there before anyone else tries to offer something else.
Yeah. The tough thing about Austin, Texas is sometimes I don't get the chance to even downplay anything. I don't even get the chance to do any of that because it's like I see people behind me like rolling up, and you look at the back of their truck and it's like they got bikes or they got something, and you're just like that they're coming for that thing that you're looking at, and you're like, dude,
You're under the gun.
if I even they're gonna peer right over your shoulder, or they're gonna be looking around like analyzing it, and they're just ready, So that's an unfortunate kind of situation. That's probably the biggest negotiation killing thing possible is if you're trying to get a good deal and then there's demand for the product on the spot, like right in front of your very eyes, and they can see it, you can see it. It's tough, right? It is very tough. And in fact, it's one of the hardest things to even negotiate because people in this town aren't stupid, man. They go, okay, there's freaking like 3 people here looking at the same damn bike. I'm going to say a number, and one of them is going to probably say yes, usually me. But if that doesn't happen, right, you happen to roll up on a garage sale and the bike is like, I don't know, $100, right? I always try to come in at like 80. I don't try to like go crazy at 50 because if I'm looking at it at 100 already,
The
I
rims
already
are
know this
bent.
thing's going to be sold for like 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5. So if I'm already actively looking at it at 100, I'm excited already. I don't downplay it though, but I make sure to keep my hands on it. Okay, on a bike. Other things I'll pick it up and I know I want it and I'll wait for them to say something and no matter what they say, I'll put it down. That's in Flip That, you know what? That's in my book. It doesn't matter what they say. I'll just put it down because they'll sometimes half the time you'll get that. Well, what about what would you pay for it? When you get that, gate is open right there. You can go in for the kill and you can do damage. But usually on the bike thing, I don't try to like destroy people on a bike thing because in this town bikes are really well known. So people know that they're worth something. But yeah, I do downplay my emotions. I don't try to. I like Young. I don't ever try to look like I want it. All right.
Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like Raken, one of the biggest forms of ammunition that you can carry into a garage sale is knowing the reason why they're selling the product, but not really actively. I mean, you could know it in Craigslist or in IFTTT. I assume that they say it's either a moving sale. When you hear moving or things like that, that's a dire
Divorce.
situation. That means they do not want to take that thing with them. So that is huge ammunition on your part. Usually fundraiser or benefit is another one, right? They don't want to turn away money because this is going to someone basketball team going to like play in some playoffs, or it's going to some youth church group that's going to Venezuela. Like all the proceeds from this garage sale go to So usually you have a lot of ammunition with that as well. But in the end, negotiation is different for everybody, I think, and you have to practice it on a regular to even get remotely good at it. So you have to know that usually at a garage sale, negotiation is usually open. Okay, like I would say 90% of the time you can negotiate for something cheaper, and you should. People like me and CP, a lot of times if someone says $1 for that or whatever, I'm not going to go to 50 cents. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to pay the dollar because College Picker, Raken, Yang, we know that these dollar things sometimes can equal $30, $50 on FBA, eBay, quick $20. I mean, really, are you going to try to get it for 50 cents and try to, like just take it and just get along with your day? And I don't like changing my vehicle either. So,
I knew that was coming.
yeah, enough of that little rant. We're going to be doing more negotiation kind of stuff. The Green Room Season 2 is going to be a little bit different than Season 1 in the respect that it's going to be aiming for insane value. And one of the things is more of the nitty-gritty and not the obvious that we're going to be talking about. And so I hope you guys did like the first episode of Season 2 here. And we're just getting started. And if you have suggestions of guests or videos or topics that you want us to cover, definitely put it down in the comment feed. We really, really thank you guys for being here to support the first show. It's super important to us to be able, and we feel honored to talk in YouTube and have even 55 or 57 people watching us at any given time. We feel honored. We don't have to have a whole lot. We don't have to have very little. We just want to send the message out there. So hopefully when you have a garage sale day, you start understanding the concepts of golden hours and energy drinks and kale smoothies or whatever, or the night before, and what the prep really is from people that do it all the time. We do garage sales. I mean, you see it on my videos. College Pickers, he knows exactly what he's doing. Young, I know, is a beast, and then Raken does it when he can, when his town is going off with garage sales. But we are very experienced in what we do. You can do a lot of damage in. I usually go for like 4 hours, 3 to 4 hours. You can do a lot of damage in 4 hours. I mean, you can make a lot of money if you know how to do it like a person that's a pro does it. So I hope this show really helped you guys out. And again, thanks for spending an hour on your very valuable Monday night. You could have been watching The Bachelorette and American Ninja Warrior, but you picked this place to get some education. I applaud you for that because American Ninja Warrior or Bachelorette won't pay you any money in the future. But if you execute our little strategy, you'll be making money off of it. So make sure to DVR those shows, by the way, and watch ours. CP, do you have anything you want to tell the people out in YouTube land before we go?
If you need a place with Wi-Fi, McDonald's is the fastest. I don't want to do a closing. There's too many people here.
I see a Skylanders Trap Team like advertisement behind you. I wonder if it's like a certain figure that you can only get from McDonald's and you can end up putting on eBay. Anyway.
Maybe.
Raken, you want to let people know what's up or what?
Absolutely. Had a great time along with all the other admins of the green room. Really, really missed having these shows and happy that we're on season 2. Love the interaction, love helping people out and learning from you guys as well. Everyone who watches, such great comments, and I know I'll try to get into the comments as well as all the other admins and go in there and answer any questions and whatnot. But we appreciate it, so thank you so much.
Young?
No, it's good to be back. Thanks for watching. And, obviously I don't put out a lot of videos, but if you guys do have questions, please hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, and I'll try and engage with you guys there. So, yeah, it's good to be back.
Okay, cool. And then I'll wrap it up with a little FYI. So there's going to be another show next week here on the Green Room channel. And then the third show is going to be a private show for the members. And so we're going to be airing that into our private Facebook group. So that's going to be an interesting thing. We don't know what venue we're going to pick yet, but it's going to be a great show. And so we're going to be doing that kind of thing. We're going to try to get a staggered approach, like one show on YouTube, one show there, one show on YouTube, one show in there. So anyway, consider the Green Room if you want to further your education. We really appreciate your time here, and we'll talk to you next time. Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.